Hello again, everyone. This is Gilmer, and this is episode 1 of my Revolution Under Siege Gold game. And I'm just looking at the strategic map, I don't know if it's a strategic map, but I'm just looking at the overall disposition of my forces, what I want to do. I think the most important thing to remember is you really don't want to get units off into regions with no rail lines because the supply situation is probably not going to be very good for them. So I am going to actually move this unit up here. That's weird. Do you see that? That's weird. I don't like units inside cities unless they're locked. I did take this general out of this. I had put him in charge of the Finland army, but I'm thinking he might not unlock for a while. Do we have any messages to begin the turn? No. This is going to be bare bones, I think, is what this game is, but it is a very deep game. If you've ever played any Asia games, this game is hard to get into, but it's rewarding if you do get into it. If you can get into it and learn it. See, that is a strategic city. We have a rail going down to it. We have a rail going up there. Doesn't look like they have any units in Vipuri. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but hopefully I'm getting that right. Let me see if we can't. Let's this is one militia unit. I don't know why it's sitting up here, and I don't really know why this is sitting down here either, but we're going to try to get him. Now, see, we don't control this area at all, so we can't really use their rail. I didn't put him back in the city. I don't think I understand why you think I want him in the city. The reason I don't like troops being in the city is because you can get trapped within the city in these games, and it becomes kind of almost like a death spiral. There is such a thing as a sortie command, but I don't know that it works all that well on getting outside of a city. I actually don't even see it listed here. No. You have enter structure, force march, synchronized movement, move by rail, evade combat. I don't think there is an evade combat in this game, or a sortie. I just said we have a button for evade combat. So I don't think there is a sortie button for this game, and so I am very leery or wary. I don't know what's the best word to say that, but I don't like my troops being inside a city and then getting captured, or not getting captured, but getting caught inside a city, unless they're locked. This guy's locked. I can't really do much with him. He's a garrison. But units like this, I don't like being in the city. So I think what our goal needs to be is there seem to be 3 main axes of ingress into Finland, and that is this rail line, this rail line, and this rail line. So I feel like if I can control access through those, then I'll do all right. So I'm moving this guy. I think I'm gonna try to take Kuopio, and I think I'm gonna move him there by rail. Actually, going to put him back on defensive because I think I'm going to leave him here for now. If I get a battle with this unit and beat it, then I'm going to bring this unit probably back to this area and maybe right here because that's a river, and one of the major things in Asia games, if you attack across a river, you get major penalties for combat, which is true in actual any kind of real combat. If you're crossing a river, it's real hard to attack across a river, even in this day and age in 2020. I think it's hard to attack across a river because obviously you got to get the units on the water and then get them off the water, and it's just a logistical nightmare from what I understand. So this unit, then I have this unit. We have military control, mostly 60%, but I don't like it sitting here because he has a supply wagon, but I don't think he's going to be getting much supply in this region. So I think I'm going to move him there. And then I think I'm going to move him rail. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. I don't want him getting there quicker than this guy. So let's try. Let's just not use rail, and we'll get him into this areas. So basically what I'm doing is I am leaving this a little open. I'm going to try to capture or destroy this unit. I already own this region, but get everybody on, a thwart basically of the rail lines going north. And then I'm going to also get this guy out of here. And this guy too. It'll take 15 days to get to there. What does this unit say? Insurrectional forces. Let's take a look at that. So they have an ability called Insurrectional Forces. Enemy units with the Insurrection fighting skill will have a 25% attack bonus against this element. This personal ability only applies to the element itself. Not really sure what that means. I guess enemy units will have trouble fighting them unless they have insurrection fighting skill. I'm not positive about that, but I don't know why I would really care to keep possession of Espoo and Porvoo. Some strange names, but and a friend of mine, or well, I don't know if you could call him a friend, but Uncle Timo, one of my acquaintances and somebody that gives me advice says Tampere is their capital. So we should try to take that, but I don't really know if I want to attack across a river. But if I have overwhelming forces, I might do so. Which is debatable as to whether I will have overwhelming forces. So I am going to save the turn. I've been also informed I should save all the time because this game does crash a lot. I haven't played it in a long time. I think it's been about 4 years since I did my playthrough of the main campaign where I was playing the Reds. And I actually wasn't doing too badly. Battle of Arcus, we won. They lost 2 militia units. Okay. Looks like that turn. Okay. I like sorting these and reading them in their own little section. So this is going to be well, I'm just going to look at this. Mannerheim takes command. I wonder if you can. Here we go. Carl Gustav Mannerheim, a former Tsarist army officer, is named Supreme Commander of the Finnish White Army. He sets up his HQ in Vasa. Finland Civil War. The Civil War brewing since months in Finland suddenly bursts out. The first combat start from the 17th of January for control of Viipuri. Both sides mobilize their forces from the 26th and 27th. The Reds capture Helsinki on the 28th, while at the same time the Whites manage to disarm and take over the Russian garrisons of Ostrobothnia. Red Army creation. Sovnarkom adopts a decree ordering the dissolution of the former army and the creation of a Red Army of workers and peasants. The publication will be pushed back to February 1st in order to avoid hindering the negotiations underway at Brest-Litovsk. In the mind of its creators, this army is above all a popular militia of volunteers, Red Guards, and ex-soldiers of the former Imperial Army. Russia abandons the Julian calendar for the Gregorian one, which is 13 days ahead of the former. White's armored train. The sole armored train made by the Finnish Whites was named Karjalan Palastia, the savior of Karelia. It operated in the region of the same name and had a single artillery wagon powered by a lightly armored locomotive. Its sole weapon was a 76mm mountain gun. To ensure close defense, the crew had to use gun or pistol fire from holes made through the armor plates of the wagon. Despite this, the train had some success, and its presence on the front was a great morale booster for the nationalist soldiers. Interesting. So let's see. We won a battle in Varkos, which is here. Surely that's not. No, it can't be. His name was I.A. Lenin, I think. Planes from Vasa flew a recon mission. Your planes are going to be good for recon. Let's see what his. This red lettering is hard for me to kind of read. So he has a 10% penalty, as you can see here. That's because he's not really capable of commanding the amount of troops that he has under his command. You see how this is the supply. You are at 65% of your maximum food and water capacity. Your current stock is 39 points and your usage is 14 per turn. And as you can see, our supply wagon is getting depleted. I can't. What is this? Enable divisional command. Okay, so I'm going to have Hjalmarsson, Colonel H.O. Hjalmarsson. I'm going to enable divisional command for him. Most of these guys are already enabled for divisional command. Let's see. Provided command 8. That's because he's a 2-star. Most of these guys I think are... Oh, wait a minute. He's a 2-star. Provided command 5, though. He's a cavalry guy. Dragoons are cavalry, but White Guards, and that's horse cavalry, I guess. I mean, not horse cavalry, horse artillery, maybe? Yes, horse artillery, light artillery. Okay. Let's see if this guy is... No, he's still... So I'm going to bring this army down. Wait a minute, let's see. Is there anybody else that could command it? No, not really. Why didn't it... Is it locked? It doesn't show that it's locked. Huh. That's interesting. It doesn't really tell me why I can't move that. And I haven't had any messages saying that the main Finland army is locked. I know Mannerheim is locked. But I don't see any locked. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. There we go. All the difference in the world. So he has the first Red Guards. And let's see. You know what? Oh, there's 2 units here. I'm going to move him back so he can cover this line. They actually have 2 units here in this city now. He's still going. Let's see. Okay. Sir, we have lost Turku in the area of Finland. Oh, well, I don't think there was any way we were capturing that. Reds captured Varkas and Region Varkas. Now, we gain control of Varkas and Region Varkas. Transports, 163 supply points over sea. Sir, our merchant fleet in the Atlantic Ocean has delivered one money and five war supply to our harbors. I think this top is just maybe the 163, but maybe I don't know. I think I remember this being a kind of a flavor, or more for the main campaign. If he ever engage in the main campaign, so excuse me. If we move him, no, that's not what we want because he's on. Let's move him. No, let's. He's good. So let's keep Mikkel. He's coming down here. He's gonna move up one. We'll leave him there. I have 3 units here. Excuse me. Oh, there is a supply. So I'm gonna get this one unit coming from here, get him there. I probably bring this down and join with that little unit. Wish I had more generals, because it looks like I'm going to be general poor at a very tough time. So I don't think I'm going to attack this immediately, but I am going to attack him. I do wonder if I should go here and then there, so as not to be attacking over a river. I'm going to save this turn. Is there anything I can do? Let's see. National morale. Changes from objectives under control. I think that's because we lost Turku, which is a city, and it is a strategic city. Will to fight national resistance +1, so we're sitting at 96. -5 +1 gets us 96. Changes of return from objectives only. Engagement points, thousands of rubles. Conscripts, war supply, railroad capacity. So this is another thing. If you look at number 2 there, it says each turn the remaining railroad transport capacity that is not used to move your forces is automatically used for the transport of the food and ammunition supply between your depots. This last use of the railroad transport capacity becomes a crucial necessity during the Russian winter in supplying your fronts. And it's early February, so I'm thinking this is the Russian winter. So let's see. F1. You can sort it. You can look at this. That's a horrible commander. 511 isn't great either. I mean, the 5 is good. That's your strategic rating, whether they're going to activate or not. The 1s are kind of anemic. 2 is pretty much mediocre. 3 is you're starting to get to a good. 3 is good. It's not great, but it's good. And then you got This guy Mannerheim, who's a 6'3", he is amazing. I hope I get him unlocked at some point. F2. I don't know if I'm the one buying replacements or not. I can't remember if I am. Looks like we have enough replacements there. Light artillery. I purchased one. That's about it for there. International volunteers. Welcome, international volunteers. So it says 4 EPs, but I only have 1 EP. I think it can go into negative here. But I don't know if it'll allow. I mean, I think it'll allow you to think you're accepting this or taking this, but it might say, "Hey, you don't have enough EP, so that was canceled." Recomplete the rail pool. Uh, 10 war supplies, 1,100 marcas, markless, Marcus. Well, we'll give it a try. You always need regional decisions. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't think you get regional decisions on this. I might be wrong on that, but it says click on the area to cycle through possible decisions. I'm clicking. Nothing is coming up. So, a strategic map. It shows us our units up here and their units. Objectives and scores. We lost Turku, and that's at 5 that we lost. When we hopefully take Kuopio, we'll get 5 back. So, victory point gain 17, total victory points 22. We're gaining 7 per turn, so we got to change that. But this turn is over, so let's go ahead and save it, and then proceed to the next turn. And I might be being too cautious. I can be accused of being too cautious at times. I'm sort of a modern day. That's really loud. I have the sound volume at 20%, but these games have trouble with their sound, in my opinion. You can turn that sound all the way down. Okay, here we go. Trotsky breaks Brest-Litovsk negotiations. Trotsky breaks the negotiations at Brest-Litovsk. He unilaterally proclaims the end of the war and demobilizes a Russian army. In fact, Sovnarkarm is gambling on the war exhaustion of the Central Powers and the start of revolutions in Germany and Austria-Hungary. The German Empire, getting restless to sign a peace under its own terms, sees the move as a denunciation of the armistice by the Bolsheviks and gets ready for a renewed offensive. Representatives of the white Finnish government officially call for the Reich help 4 days later. On its side, I'm about to sneeze, I think. On its side, the Rada in Kiev signs a separate peace treaty with Germany. The Reich acknowledges the existence of the new Ukrainian state. Socialism in danger. Facing the German onslaught, a decree proclaims the socialist motherland is in danger. To support the order of mass conscription Meetings are taking place in the capital. This date will stay in history as that of the Red Army birthday, although it did not exist except on paper at that time. Your opponent has increased rail transport pool, which I did as well. You have commissioned more equipment for your railroads. The Finns have received Swedish volunteers in Vasa. So all of our movements worked, it looks like. Soldiers of infantry have been successfully trained. Infantryman and loyal staffer. Oh, maybe it's this one. Militiaman and fast mover. All right. So I'm thinking this is just so he's going to get there in 6 days, and this guy's going to get there in 7 days. I think that's going to be okay because I do have that delay option selected so that he might wait a couple of days before he actually attacks, if he attacks at all, which I think he should or will. So I'm going to move this guy down here. I'm going to join him up with that unit so that he has a commander. Let's take a look over here. I've got 5 units here now and not enough guys to command them. This unit has a 10% penalty. So I'm wondering if I move one over here. No, they get a 10% penalty. And then this one still has a 5% penalty. Oh, they had a 5%. He's completely out of supply. He's not. I have to move them. I have to move him in there because he doesn't have any supply. Let's see. We'll move a supply unit into. No, he's okay. It looks like he might be the one that needs it. So he's still below what he needs. It looks like they've abandoned Tampere. Let's see. And if you don't want to combine these, you can right click on them, and as you can see, a little lock shows on them. And I don't really want to combine these. I still have penalties on pretty much all of them, but there's not really much I can do with that at this point. I can't really promote anybody. I can't really do anything with any of them command point wise, so I'm just going to have to leave them the way they are, but I don't want to make things worse by combining them into one big stack. Although that could actually work to my advantage, possibly. I'm not positive about that. So anyway, what we have on schedule is an attack to Tampere, an attack to Kuopio, and a consolidation of forces down here. He's okay for supply. Plus we got a supply unit coming, so we'll be good there. So I'm going to save the turn. Oh, there's a unit there. Oh boy. That's good. Oh man, we're in trouble here. Oh, we won. Hmm. So if we look at this, our current morale is 101. Their current morale is 100. As you can see, changes from objectives under control. Oh, and that's because we captured Quopio. Honestly, I don't know if I need to leave somebody up here, but I'm going to. So he's got a 10%, but I'd rather have him, this Savior of Karelia, under him so that he can command it, even if it is a 10% penalty. He's in good position, I think. He's entrenched. These guys are entrenched. It doesn't say what his ratings are. I'm going to save it. Let's look at all our messages. So, Brest-Litovsk Treaty signed. Sovnarkom finally concedes to all Austro-German demands and the Brest-Litovsk Treaty is signed. Units at the front are demobilized. Russia acknowledging the independence of Ukraine, Finland, Poland, the Baltic, and the Caucasus republics. The treaty also precises that the Bolshevik government must immediately cease all intervention in the domestic affairs of Finland. From now on, Russian help there will be limited to supply and ammunitions. The last Russian units are withdrawn from the front. In the Ukraine, the Rada asks the protection of the Central Powers, whose troops are moving forward and occupy the whole country. British land in Murmansk. Following a plea from the Murmansk Soviet, which feared a Finnish-German foray, a small British corps led by Admiral Kemp takes control of the city and its important depot of weapons that were delivered to Tsarist Russia by the Western Allies. This is the first act of the Allies' intervention in the Civil War. Where is that? Where is Murmansk? Oh. Is that it? No, that's Petrograd, which is renamed Leningrad. I'm pretty sure. Murmansk. Oh well. I don't know that it necessarily matters where if that I know. Oh, crap. I forgot all about these guys. Let's do this. Let's lock that so that he doesn't combine with anybody. See, you gotta read all of these messages. If you don't, you'll miss so much. I see people who play these games and they just kind of skim over these messages and don't really look at all of what is going on, and you can miss some important stuff if you do that. Finnish Jaegers join the Whites. 27th Jaeger Battalion was an elite unit trained in Germany and having fought the Russian on the Eastern Front. It lands at Vasa, and the Jaegers will soon be the spearhead of the new Finnish army. Germany sends money and weapons to the Finnish Whites. I didn't realize Germany was on the nationalist side in Finland, but I mean, I guess that makes sense. Supplies from Sweden and Germany arrive in Finland. Everybody that's going went. While taking Kuopio, we managed to capture 613 supply carts and 119 crates of ammunition. Sir, the capture of Kuopio in the area of Karelia has done much to bolster the support for the war. And then it just tells me, you gain control of the region Espoo. Oh, you're control of the region Espoo. That's way down here. We lost that. So let's see. Anything else? E. Linder has been congratulated for his actions against the enemy. New seniority 102. And these guys, I do believe, can be promoted. The promotion button is down here. Promote leader. But nobody is eligible for promotion just yet. And that's going to do it for this episode, I think. Things are looking good, but this scenario always seems to go south on me. It seems like at certain points, but it's been a really long time since I've played this scenario. But I do play these smaller scenarios before I start playing the bigger campaigns, usually just to kind of get a feel for what's going on, the types of units, the types of generals, even the graphics, just getting used to everything, where all the buttons are, because it seems like every time a new game came out under this engine, the buttons were in different places. These sometimes were down here, and these were sometimes up here, and vice versa. So you kind of have to get used to it. This button is building. I can build units, although I really don't have a lot of... Oh, I got 106,000 rubles. So I do have the money to build some stuff. So I think I will build... It's funny that it looks like all I can build is artillery. All is selected. Yes. Here's some white guards. Fem white guards. So I guess that's pretty much everything you can build. Let's build one. Let's build a couple. Let's build a third one. These are cheap. Let's build a fourth one. Let's build some supply. That's something I do a lot of. I like to, and this is the Atlas. This is basically the F1 through F9. If you hit F1, you get that. F2, F3, F4. I don't think there's anything else. So, yeah. Let's build some. And that will be the end of this episode. I already said that once, but thank you very much. I will see you next time.